We back, done that, been that podcast, another episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and supporting us as you continue to subscribe. Continue to tell a friend to join us each and every week. I am your host, Mike Hill.
And I'm Ephraim Salaam. Thank you guys so much. We having fun. We talking to people we love, people we know, and just allowing you to come into our lives, their lives, and I think that's what we need, especially today.
Being transparent, right?
Yes.
Letting you in and letting people understand exactly who we are, talking about our experiences, the things we've done, the places we've been. And one of the reasons I wanted to have the young lady that we have on the show today, because she's very transparent. I got a chance to meet her a couple of months ago. We shot a movie together and we just connected, clicked. Like, she is one of the most beautiful souls that you will ever meet in your life, in my life. She's made a huge difference in my life in the short amount of time that I've been around her. She is an entertainer, she's an actress, she's a singer, she's an influencer. She is a child of God. She is an angel here on earth.
Thank you.
She is Apryl Jones hanging out with us.
Oh, that was so nice.
That was really good, right?
It is, but you know, I'm tied to him for life. Like, it really was a connection when we met, and he tells me, you know, about myself on a daily. He pours into me about who I am and what I've, you know, been to him, and I'm just so grateful for that. So thank you for that introduction. It was really, 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 really sweet. It can make me cry.
No, I mean, it's a reciprocation, you know, and that's what it's about. Because the theme of today's show is transformation, and I think we've all transformed in one way or the other for the better, and especially this young lady right here. I've seen her growth just from afar, and now seeing it up close and personal, it just means so much to me, and see how far you've come, and I can't wait to see where you're gonna go with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how did that come about, the start of it? Because obviously we've been through a lot. You told me about your background, growing up in Chicago and coming here, and from where you were to where you are right now, how do you look at your growth? Are you proud of it? Do you feel like you just got so much more to do? How do you view it?
I feel like I look at my whole life in the spectrum of just in gratitude, grateful for everything, whether it's the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I'm just so happy to be able to be a person that I feel like I use those things when I view my life to grow. I'm always a person of, like, a student of growth and just wanting to level up and be the best version of myself. So all the bad stuff that I've gone through, I'm like, okay, well, how can I channel that in my life to just being positive, and like now being an adult and making the proper choices for my life to choose better, want more, to do better, be a better person to people that I encounter, and all those things. And I think that, of course, I've made some mistakes, you know what I mean? And whether that's publicly, personally, whatever, I've looked at those things and I've been like, okay, I don't like how I've hurt people, or I don't like how I've made I don't like how I feel. And I've been in a space to be like, okay, let me go into therapy, or let me stop drinking, or let me, you know what, because we all know when we fucking up.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
you know, we do know, but it's like, sometimes
know.
You just be like, well, I'm gonna just keep doing it. Like, I think I got to a space where I was like, I'm tired.
Yeah,
I don't like this feeling anymore.
What was that moment?
Yeah,
do you
was that
know
space?
Can you lock into a specific moment where you were just like, you know what, fuck this?
Well, more so recent was the grief of my dad, was that time. But I feel like it's different moments in life when it's like...
Explain what happened to your dad.
So my dad passed away in October.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And my relationship with him was always very troubling. He was incarcerated, things like that. So he wasn't really present in my life when I was a young girl. And when I had my son and my daughter, I wanted him to be present in my life. And we had the conversations, and he wasn't consistent. And so I made a decision to kind of like back off, because I did not want my children asking for him and all those things. And so it got to a point where for 5 years, we kind of weren't really dealing with one another. And then he ended up passing away. Wow. And it was that like turning point for me where I was like, oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. Right? Like, and then I was realizing like, oh no, I'm not okay. Like, I'm coping through drinking alcohol. Like, half the time I'm not even presently aware, because my body was in such shock, and like it just brought like certain things subconsciously out of me that I didn't even know was like not healed. And so I was kind of like hurting the people around me by when I was drinking, not even remembering some things that I would say, or just like kind of not presently aware. And I was like, oh no. And then I look in the mirror and be like, you hurting yourself. You don't even look like yourself. You feel very unfamiliar when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Like, your body is changing because of the amount of alcohol that I was drinking at that point. I felt like shit every morning that I woke up. You know what I mean? And then I started thinking about my kids. Like, what are you doing? You have 2 kids. You need to be presently aware. Like, you need to be like, so it was all these thoughts. And I just realized, like, no, I've gotta change. I've gotta be better and do better. And so I made the choice to just be like, okay, April, you're using alcohol for what? First step. Why are you drinking so much? Because I'm trying to escape. Okay. Well, so now feel your shit.
You just masking your pain.
Yeah, you got to feel your feelings. So it was like, oh, don't really want to do this. But I did it. And when I said no to alcohol was the moment that I sat in so much uncomfortability, moments where I would just cry and be like, God, I don't like this. But I went back to church. I surrendered myself to God. I prayed. I've been journaling every day, meditating, and just being like, God, I'm surrendering whatever you have for me at this point, because I cannot do this alone. Help me. And I feel like I've literally been now in a space now almost like 3.5, 4 months of just coasting. I've got over the hump of like no desire to drink. I'm now on to just like my body feels good. I'm working out. I'm presently aware. I'm here now. Like, I feel like I've arrived back into April's body. Wow. And it took a long time to get here.
You know what? It's great to hear how you can lock in, right? That's a tough question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Right? It's to look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Right. Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people have people in their circle that perpetuate that type of behavior.
Yes.
So when you do make a change, and when you decide, okay, it's time for me to be the best me, were there people in your life that you lost along the way that were tied to the old you and weren't willing to accept this change you were trying to make for yourself?
For sure. And I feel like even now sometimes with certain friends, like if I speak a particular way, they're almost expecting that it's going to be the old version of me. And then I have to retrain them to be like, that's not who I'm not who I used to be. I'm this. So don't talk to me like this. Or when I'm like the fun life of the party, and I still have that personality, but I no longer want to be like that in a club environment or like, you know what I mean? Like doing the old things that I used to do. So now when I'm like, no, and I'm creating boundaries for myself, people are like, what do you mean no? Like, come on, you don't want to drink? You don't want to take a shot? I said no.
Right.
So now I'm finding myself going kind of toe-to-toe with people about the fact
it's crazy,
I said,
right? Yeah, right?
You need to drink because you're trying to escape, and I understand that, but that's not me anymore. I can have fun and not be drunk in an environment. Like last night, I didn't drink. People are like, you want to take a shot? I don't. Do you want a juice shot? I don't. I don't even want juice. I want to drink my water.
Right.
It's okay, but why does that always have to be a thing, especially here in the entertainment business? It's like, you cannot drink without it being something.
Something wrong.
Yeah, it's like a problem. It's like, no, I'm
celebrating.
actually very healthy, and I'm okay with being around people who drink, no judgment, because that was me at a point, but I've crossed over to the other side.
A lot of times people can't elevate to your level. They can't reach that level, so they want you to stay at a certain level so they can feel more comfortable. But it's important for you to continue to rise above it all, despite what they're saying. And even if they are falling off, then they're not meant to go with you in that next phase. We talk about that all the time because we have friends in common that, obviously, the transition and the things that I'm going through in my life, thanks to her, I've been going to church a lot lately and just like hearing the Spirit and hearing the Lord and coming back and getting these messages and not ignoring the messages that I'm receiving as well. But we're also both public figures, right? Yeah. So when it's one thing to make that change among people that know you, and you pray that they understand that you're changing for the better and not just changing to get away from them, but you're changing for the better and hoping they can do the same thing. It's another thing when you try and change the perception of people on the outside looking in, the fans, so to speak, what they expect of you. And we talked about this even before on your podcast about when I came out and talked about my past and how, still there's trepidation, me speaking on it because they only see the past. They don't see where I'm trying to go. Yeah. Not that you have to explain anything to them, but has it been difficult because you want people to see this new April? Because you were always very sweet, very innocent, very bright. You were always that person. But now going from that crowd to a and establishing a different crowd while trying to maintain the people that want to continue to be your fans?
Well, I just feel like, I know people expect certain things of me, but my life is not your life. I am not you. And I am okay with, I believe God put me into this position because I was strong enough to handle it. And so my thing is like, although I know that being in the entertainment industry, people are like, oh, we know her from reality TV. And it's like, but you really don't. That's still a level of editing that comes into play and all these things. And I understand that you love me, you don't like me, and that's okay. But I don't want to say that I don't care, but I'm not here to live for anyone outside of me. So I'm a human. I'm going to be a human at all times, be authentically myself. You may not like certain things, but now I'm in a space where you're going to see me grow because I'm going to put that out because that's who I am. And so now I'm in a space where, I'm putting more things on that's positive and being sober. And so people are like, wait a minute. So she used to, but that's a part of.
That's growth.
Right.
It is growth.
So you're going to see me. I'm sharing all these parts of me because I want people to know, like, you don't have to hide who you are. You can totally be a person who fucks up, a person who makes mistakes, a person who doesn't like yourself when you wake up some mornings, a person who can fall into a depression, a person who can do, like, it's okay. We have to be okay with those things. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part about life is that you take the ugliness and you turn it into beauty, right? By elevating, by growing, by pouring into, by being a better version of yourself, because that's all we can do.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at.
Have you ever, coming from reality television and being in that world, giving people so much access to you, and like you said, they expect what they see is the actual reality of whatever it is. Like editing can make anything look you could turn something this big into a mountain through editing. I remember they wanted to do they were like, we want to do more positive reality TV, and so they came out and they shot this thing with my wife and my kids and all of that. And so when we went there and met with them, I was like, okay, well, just know we want creative control. And they were like, oh, well, we don't really. And I said, okay, well, we don't need to do this.
Right.
Because I refuse to let anyone dictate what my relationship looks like to the world. Now, both of you guys have been on reality TV, and a lot comes with that.
Yes, Lord.
Some good things, but a lot of negative things, right?
Yes.
My question to you is, would you do that again? Like, would you embark on that level of that journey again?
Not without having creative control, no. And I'm not really interested in giving my power over anymore. I was young, I was in my 20s. I didn't know any better. I was kind of, the reason why I went on TV in the first place was because I was in a relationship and it was like beneficial for his career and to, so it was like that whole thing. It started off there and I was like, oh, well, this is not what I expected. I never wanted to be on reality TV.
That was crazy.
That was never a part of my life. Like, I went to school. I worked so hard to like get to where I was. Coming to LA after graduating college, getting a bachelor's in radiation science, and coming here was like, I want to do, for me, art and singing. How do I end up on a reality TV show?
And that's crazy.
And back it up, yo, BS in what?
Radiation science.
I mean,
Nobody
like
knew
a
that.
smart.
Like, no one-
Smart.
Because what you see is you're just like,
I'm just some gold digging.
There you go.
That's what they put out
know.
there. And if somebody's been on a reality show, same thing. I just went on there to support somebody. That was your role, going there to support somebody, and then you become a name yourself. But what people don't understand about reality television, that the shit ain't real. It really is not real. And I know I'm giving away some of the secrets or whatever, but you become a character of what they want you to become. It's like, we need you to fit in this box. So you're going to be this guy who's a cheater. No matter what you're trying to do with your life, no matter what your career was before that, you're going to be this because you had admitted to this. So this is your role now. And this is the type of storyline that they're always going to direct it towards. You got producers, and I'm telling the whole damn game. I don't give a damn because I'm not doing it again. You got producers on the side over there basically holding up, hey, talk about this, right?
Yeah, notes.
They got notes in their phone.
Oh, hell no.
Over there
No.
talking to whoever, hey, ask her about that time that she slept with your husband. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what they're doing. They're feeding you stuff. They're putting you in positions that you would never be in. It's like all of a sudden, me and April, we could have met 3 months ago and I met her for the first time, but then on the show to make it seem like we were best of friends, that we hung out all the time.
Oh my God, please talk about it, because they did that to me and they made it seem as though I had these relationships for years. So when things were happening, people were like, wow, she's a terrible friend. She's terrible. And I'm like, I don't know. But I can't go on and because I'm loyal like that. I'm filming for y'all. I'm not even going to go on and be like, you know what? I ain't my friend. I'm going to let y'all ride and rock. I'm going to rock because I signed up for it, right? But it's like, I ain't on that shit no more either. So sorry to you, but it's true.
And so let me ask you, you have beautiful children, right? How old are they?
So my son just turned 10 and my daughter is 8 and she'll be 9.
So now they can see you. They can watch some of the things. Have you had that type of conversation with them? Like, hey, this is, this isn't reality. This wasn't the depiction that they're seeing of their mom. This wasn't real. Have they broached that subject with you yet?
No, I think they know, like, oh, Omarion's my dad and like Apryl Jones is my mom. But I think and they've seen things on the internet, but I'm very open with my kids.
That's great.
About everything. I think that my kids are super intelligent, far beyond their years. And so I talk to them about sex or body parts or, hey, if someone touches you, like I talk to them about everything, memorizing telephone numbers, because if anything happened, y'all need to be able to call, signaling. I mean, all the things. I've talked to them about my mistakes, and it doesn't define me, and you're going to make mistakes. It won't define you. It's all about growing. So we do have these conversations. But no, they haven't really asked me or been like, Mom, were you this way on TV? They don't watch that stuff. We don't really hardly watch reality in my house.
That's good. It'll be middle school is when.
They'll probably
the other kids
might bring it up and be like, your mom was.
That's the middle. Middle school is like. Middle school is the worst part of your educational journey. It's just what it is.
They're unfiltered.
Because I had a 13-year-old, and he's beautiful and he's sweet, and I want him to be a kid as long as he can be. Right? Just enjoy being a kid. Be goofy. I want the goofy kid. I want the goofy son. I want him talking about roller coasters and video games, not butts.
I know.
Like, I'm like, so we don't, as parents, we don't, he doesn't have access to just go online.
No, you can.
And just do anything. But when he gets to school, his friends have phones, and when I tell you they look, I'm like, and look, I don't want to put him on blast, but he'll come home and be like, hey man, the first day of middle, when he was in the 6th grade, first day of middle, he came home, he was like, Dad, the language.
The language.
He was like, whoa. I was like, well, like what? And he was like, oh, I can say those things. I was like, no, you get a pass.
Okay.
He was like, I can say it? The only time, man. What are you hearing at school? This is the first day of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, 6th grade for him. He was like, motherfucker. And I was like, what? Kids are saying that? He was like, oh, that's not it. And so like you could just see now he's in the 8th grade, right? And so you could just see a little bit of the innocence just chipped away from my baby.
They starting to pull him.
As you grow, right? Had a girlfriend.
Wait till them girls start getting to him, bro.
And I'm like, well, what does it even having a girlfriend mean to you? Well, she's my friend, and we walk to the car after school.
It's like you tried to get me to walk somebody's car. It's like, see, it don't change even when you become 54 years old. You trying to teach your kids something, and you trying to teach me. Come on, man.
This is about her.
Okay,
not
I know,
about
but
it's
about your kids right now. You talking about your kids.
I love my kids, man.
I know you love your kids.
We all have kids.
We all do.
We all are
Hey,
parents.
my kids are grown. I kept my girls off the pole. I did my job.
That's
I'm
so
straight.
funny.
I'm good.
But look, growing up in the public eye and raising kids,
it's
tough to do. And that's why I talk about these things. Played in the NFL for a long time, been on television, writer, producer, all of those things, all the stuff that people say in LA, you be like, what do you do? Oh,
he's a writer on Bel Air, by the way,
producer,
so you know what I'm saying?
all of that.
Get you on that show. We're going to get you on
audition for that.
For what part?
I forgot.
Me
too. Get down?
Yeah.
Got you.
Come on.
Got you.
You'll find out what that entails now.
No,
hold on, wait a minute. This is my friend over here.
This is purely professional. And
okay.
I love meeting people, the energy. And I've always said that I've been blessed enough to only work with people I want to work with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I have to go and do a job just to do a job.
Yeah.
I only want to work with people I want to work with. And so us doing this podcast and meeting these, great people like yourself, in my mind, is, as you're talking, I'm
thinking about what kind of character.
I promise you.
Yep.
And I can't. My wife gets so mad at me because I'm always like, you know what? She'd be like, it's not a show, and know that, like, that's how my mind, as a creative, that's how my mind works. So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, man, she'd be dope in this or she'd be dope in that.
Yeah.
So just bear with me and appease me. But I think you'd be a tremendous asset to our cast and what we're doing over at Bel Air. And let's hope they hurry up and pick up season 4. So
season 4 has got to be picked up.
Can I just say this though? Because with acting, I feel like a lot of times when I get these roles, I tend to play the pretty girl, the trophy wife, and all that. Which is easy. For me, I'm looking to be challenged.
Come on now.
And I'm looking for someone to truly believe in the fact that I can actually dive in, and this face isn't just used just for, like, give me, and not to sound like crazy, but like a crackhead role, or like a role where I can just like really dumb myself down in my look and just dive in internally. Like, I'm looking for something like that. Now, granted, whatever you have to give me on Bel Air, I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to accept. But I kind of want to try something new.
Well, it's important as an actress or an actor to push yourself. Nobody wants to be the same thing, just like in life.
Because it's too easy for me.
Right? You don't want to just be known for the one thing that you do.
Yeah.
And I think people pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone, that's where you can get the best out of yourself.
Yeah.
You know you, and you know what you need to do to push your limits.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you saying that. Some people just like to play it safe.
Well, because if you're playing who you are, then is it acting, or is it just playing yourself? I mean, the thing is, you can be pretty, whatnot, but I admire you saying that as well, because I believe that's when people started taking Halle Berry seriously as an actress.
Oh yeah.
I was just about to say that.
She wanted to play the part, and not just Monsters Ball, but before that, when she was in Jungle Fever.
Yeah.
When she basically begged to have that role.
Yeah.
And she got that role as a crackhead, and then all of a sudden the same thing in Monsters Ball or whatever, and that's what delivered her to the height that she is now, considered in the respect that she has as an actress. Mm-hmm. But when he says this, I'm gonna tell you, he's genuine. And one thing I love about him as my brother is, like, he's genuine. If he says he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. He'll say something to me, say, let's do it, we're gonna do it. He'll listen to you as far as, like, if you got script ideas or whatever, he's there. He'll introduce you to the right people if he can't do it for himself. What I love about you is that you're genuine. What I love about you both is that you're genuine and you're super nice. You are willing to do a lot of things for just about everybody. One of the things I've learned about all of us is that sometimes our niceness, is that a word? Niceness?
Yeah, it's a word.
Niceness can be taken advantage of.
Oh yeah.
Can be taken for granted. Mm-hmm. And what I've learned is that I'm still a good person. I don't always have to be nice.
Yeah.
Have you learned that there are times when you basically say, you know what, I have the power in no. And just because I've said yes so many other times, I'm saying no to preserve or protect myself now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it doesn't always go over so well, obviously.
That part, right?
It doesn't.
But that's part of your transformation, though.
Yeah.
Because
so
if it doesn't go over, that means, once again, those people that don't understand, that don't get it, why you're doing it, because you're not, what do I talk about? I said, you're not being selfish. It's self-preservation in anything that we do. So when we pour into ourselves first, and then we have something left over to pour into others, then that's when we can do. Once again, put your mask on first before you apply it to someone else.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely realized that, like, I've been a giver. That I thrive in that area, though. It's innately within me to nurture or love on people and pour into and not expect anything in return. But I think that eventually when we do that just naturally and innately, at least for me, and I'm constantly letting people plug in and plug in and plug in, at what point I'm going to deplete myself. And so I'm realizing, and I don't like asking for help all the time. I'm getting better at doing that now because, I mean, that's what our friends are supposed to be for. Like, they're supposed to provide that just the way that I'm supposed to be there. You're supposed to pour into me too. But yeah, I realized that I was so depleted back then and I wasn't really getting anything back that now I'm like, no.
No, yeah.
No.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Like, this
Can't
is
do
not
it.
working for me anymore. And I realized by saying a simple no is so powerful. It has, like we just were saying, it has removed certain people that can't respect that and that don't honor that. And that's crazy. You should not be in my life if you cannot respect me saying no. Bye.
Yes.
Farewell. Wish you nothing but the best.
Deuces.
But it's so much power in it for myself. And what I'm realizing now is that I was not always kind to me. I was not always pouring into Apryl. I was not always, you know, we have to put we learn this. Put your own, you know, oxygen mask on before you can do it for someone else. And I feel like it stands true to real life. Like, I have got to take care of me if I want to give to you. And I think now at 37 years old of age, I am just learning this and I feel great. I feel good. I'm finally like, oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
No, I said no.
No.
I'm so happy to say no. I'll be like, no.
Sometimes you don't have to say anything and it speaks louder. Sometimes you just gotta, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give myself and give you boundaries.
Yeah.
I don't have to answer. So you can ask all you want to. I'm just gonna be over here because you know that you didn't pour back into me the last time.
Yeah.
Or the time before that, or the time before that. Because like you said, how can you continue to give somebody when you're depleted?
Yeah, I think it's also important though to just say too, like, hey, I feel this way today.
Yeah.
And so although like you need this today, I may
not
not be able to
available.
give that to you.
Yeah.
But I can circle back. You know what I mean? It's okay to be communicative about where you are. Because there are times when, like I said, I would just ignore those things and be like, okay, what do you need? Knowing good and goddamn on well, I needed stuff too.
You know what? Like, sometimes we need people in our lives to help us realize that and understand that. I wasn't great with no until I met my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm a giver by nature, period. That's just me, just like yourself. And so I was in the league, so that meant everybody else made it to the NFL. Like, everybody played on the team. Everybody I knew, we all were together. And you find yourself, you know, having a house, you got 8-9 people living in it, a bunch of cars. Like, it was a lot. But it was my life. It was just normal to me, right? You come home in the off season, we're going to do this, we're going to take a trip, we're going to have fun, we're going to do all of this. And that just was a cycle. And I used to like buy cars every year. And I met my wife, my beautiful wife, and she wasn't impressed with none of that. She didn't care about any of that. And she used to just be like, what? So you buying another car? And I was like, yeah. She was like, so look, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but just make it make sense.
Yeah.
She's like, you have 3.
Like, what are you doing?
You can only drive one at a time.
Right? And so I never really thought about it like that. I was just like, that's what we all doing. And she was like, so how many people live in your house? Like, I mean, what do you? Like, she was like, look, I know they're your friends, they're your family, all of that. And I'm not saying anything like that. And people might listen to this and be like, oh man, she was tripping. The reality of it was she saw what it was doing to me.
Yeah, she made things clear for you to see.
She saw exactly the toll it was taking on me.
She saw your blind spots.
You know, and she and
That's what that means.
and at first you're resistant to that because that goes against who you've been. But then when you accept it and you realize it, I mean, we've been together 21 years, married 18. And when I say like she is the everything, it just, sometimes you need that person. Who's your person?
My mom. my mom always, I gotta laugh because my mom has a special way of like saying something to me without saying it, but like she just knows her daughter. And my mom is a completely 100% Asian woman, very culturally different. And I'll be like, Mom, just stop. And she's like, okay. And she'll have a way of being like, and then she'll go behind me and I find out she's like asking friends and being like, do you like this person? What's going on over here? She's putting together the pieces.
Yeah.
And then without telling me, and she'll come in front of me and be like, what's happening? Are you okay? Are you happy? Are you this? And she'll assess. And a lot of times I know what she's doing. I'm like, ugh, how does she know without really knowing? So I feel like my mom is that person for me. Like she always just knows. Wow. And sometimes I'm like, it scares me because I'm like, please don't say this time. Not this one.
You're banging on that one, yep.
And then it always pans out that she was absolutely 100% right.
Well, how does she feel about this one?
About?
She know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Oh, okay.
She feels that oh my God, I can't believe.
Yeah, on the spot.
She feels that. Shut up, Melissa, because Melissa's over there. And
Melissa's
my mom just
manager.
feels like she feels like she wants more.
Okay, boom. That's it.
Oh, so, do you feel like you deserve more?
Yes.
Damn, that's a good question.
I do.
So when you feel like you deserve more, do you feel like you're worth more?
Okay.
We done turned the corner up in this mug, didn't we?
I can't, listen, so not to say that this person, he's a great human being, like 100% amazing, but like, you know, like any relationship, you're going to have things where you feel kind of like things can be worked on.
Yes.
Yep.
And sometimes people are in their off seasons. And so I'm a person who respects the off season, but at how long is the off season going to last?
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, my needs and my desires have to be met, right? And so I think that's kind of where I've been at, especially with this level of growth.
Yes.
It's like, okay, it's like I'm doing this. Like,
and then there are some people that's always going to be in Antarctica. The seasons ain't really going to change. It's just who they are.
The older you get, the smaller the shorter that off season
But I'm
is.
saying is some people don't have the capability of having that season. You ain't going to have that Greenwich or whatever. But anyway, we're going to leave that alone. We're going to leave it alone.
Yep.
Because this is once again, I love this girl. I love her so much. She is, you've made a huge, deep impact on my life, whether you know it or not. You really have, and I've said that many times. But we end every show with our unfiltered segment. And you kind of touched on a little bit, a time or place where you've done there, you've been that kind of had an impact on your life. You talked about how your father and how that, caused you to start drinking, then you stopped drinking. Has there been another significant time in your life where you say, man, I've been through the ringer, I've done this, and it's just made me the person I am today because of it? It could be something that is a burden that turned into a blessing, or it could have just been a life-altering moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not here to like bring up this person because we're in a really good space, but like the stuff that I dealt with the father of my kids, that was very troubling for me. I think just behind closed doors, dealing with it publicly, all of it really transformed me into a level of patience, having a level of patience, being able to shut the F up and learn how to silence myself in the midst of loud noises when I knew like that certain truths weren't really being told.
Ooh,
so it put a level of, I had to grow in that and create a peaceful environment for myself when it was really chaotic at a time, because it was so much noise and so much noise in the fact that like publicly, but personally, like I had kids that I had to raise. And so I was struggling, having to try to do that, going in and out of court, all the stuff that no one knows because I silenced myself. But it was a really hard time for me. And to still circle back around and say out loud, we cool. I find that to be incredible. I'm really proud of myself to be able to say that and not see what it was, but look at it for what I know it is now and where it's gonna go.
So now that's true transformation.
Absolutely. And I'm happy for your transformation, your growth, and everything you're doing, especially when you're talking about when you went through what you went through with a public figure, somebody that's, highly entertaining, but it has a lot of fans right out there. And no matter what happens, those people, their fans are always going to be on their side. And, you know, obviously I've gone through the same thing, public breakup with a person who had a lot of fans, and the assumptions of what is out there based on the reality or as opposed to reality, so night and day. Yeah. Night and day. So you fought through that and you got through that and you become the person you are and you still have that relationship. So once again, as somebody who's gone through that myself, I applaud you.
Thank you.
I really applaud you.
Well, both of you guys.
I was going to say I applaud you too.
Yeah, but just, Lord knows, it's I pray.
It's hard in these
I be
streets.
praying, Lord. I be praying. I don't want to say nothing.
Hard.
And you know, and even as a guy, you can't say anything. Like I can't come back.
Nah, you just got.
I just take it, man. But then you know what we learned. We talked about this. Sometimes you got to go through that makes you stronger. It ain't gonna kill you. It's just gonna toughen your skin. Yes. So there's gonna be something else that you, because of what you went through in that moment, you'll look back on that maybe 5 years from now. Like, that's the reason why I had to go through that, so I can deal with this.
I just feel like for me, what it boiled down to was, can I sleep at night? Can I sleep at night? Because a lot weighs on me with people, because I love people so much. I'm a people's person. I love people. Henceforth why I'm such a giver. So I really had to ask myself, can you sleep at night? And if you can't, then you need to fix certain things. Oh, I can sleep at night because I know that I'm not out here malicious. Yeah. My intentions aren't to hurt people. And I'm really good at circling back all the time. Like, if I know that I've made you uncomfortable, I'm always like, hey, yo, my bad. I'm always really good at that, being self-aware. But half the stuff that I've been through in this entertainment industry, y'all can have it. I can sleep. Yep. Because I'm not hurting anybody. I didn't make choices to hurt people. I made choices because this was my life. This was where I was. There was nothing intentional. I was out of a breakup for this amount of time. Like, everything was living just a real authentic life. So I can sleep at night.
4 words I always say: my conscience is clear. If I could look myself in the mirror, say my conscience is clear, and I really do self-evaluation when it comes to that, because I hold myself accountable to everything. If I say my conscience is clear, yeah, I don't care what you think, I'm gonna sleep well at night too. Yeah. This lady is, you don't see any wings on her, but she's an angel. And I will say that for the eternity.
I have very long limbs.
Yeah, very long limbs and a very long, great career ahead of you, great future.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to see everything that you're doing in your professional and your personal life, including your movies and everything. Once again, our movie should be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Stepdaughter 2, when she plays a sexy cop.
With heels on. Be prepared and don't talk shit yet, because I'm going to have heels, so I'm already going to say it.
I'm like, how you going to trace down a criminal in them heels?
They could have put boots on me. They could have put boots.
No, hey, man, but she killed the role. She killed the role once again, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Love you, girl, as always.
Thank you for being here, seriously.
No, thank you.
This was great. This was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing you soon.
You already
on
know.
a set.
You already know. Come on now.
I already said so. Soon as you see it get picked up now, hit them up. Season 4 is
Don't
going
even
to
trip. I'm telling you. I'm writing now.
And his brother's Deion Taylor too, so you know they got the whole Hidden Empire film group over there and all that stuff. Like
got a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on for you.
Well, always consider me. I'll be right here. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to put in my time, the efforts, all the things. You need help with anything, I'm here. I'm pretty smart. I can write. I can do whatever you need.
All the things. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I'm just gonna be her assistant. I'll be on set just in case y'all need an extra something.
Thank you.
Yeah, what?
For joining us.
You gonna cut me off?
For this latest episode of Done There Been That. I am Ephraim Salaam. This is.
I guess I'm just Mike Hill.
Done There Been That?
Yeah, Done There Been That. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of backwards, but you know we kind of backwards
I'm
too.
done there. I've been that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Done there and I'm been there.
Part.
Plenty of that all
like
the
that
time.
Better.
Thank y'all for subscribing. Thank you for telling a friend to tell a friend. Thank you for liking. And thank you for continuing to watch, man. We'll continue to bring you great guests, entertainers, athletes.
Keep supporting these wonderful, incredible men. They're amazing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously.
See, we got that from Apryl Jones. On Instagram, Apryl Jones.
Apryl S. Jones.
Apryl S. Jones. What's the S for?
My middle name. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Okay, we talked about everything else. I'm just gonna ask your mama. She tell everything.
Your mama obviously don't play.
Mama don't play. Apryl, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Appreciate and thank you guys for checking us out on this episode. We will see you again next week.